on the scene in Toronto. Scary New Jersey.
Like I'm just saying, like, those guys didn't want to see Vince.
No.
Like, when he walked in the gym, like, they didn't want to see him, like, at all. Like, so to me, he was the biggest snub. Tracy was second, right in there. And Bernard King for me. Because Bernard King was
a legend. Come on.
He was, to me, I didn't see a small, Larry Bird and them dudes didn't want to see. That's the era I grew up watching. They didn't want to see him. You know, they didn't want to see James Worthy, Larry Bird, they could not go at him. Yeah, they could not go at Bernard King.
Package. 5 dinner guests, dead or alive.
Ooh. Mandela, Bill Russell, Obama, Shana Rhimes. I would like to have her there because she writes stuff that typically isn't from our culture. And I like
she's crossed over, she's done like a lot of different things.
Typically they were like, oh, that's not your culture. How do you know that? So I would like her there. And who else? I got one more. Guys from up all the smoke.
Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah,
you give a whole different perspective.
Yeah,
keeping it right. Don't keep it real. Keep it right.
If you could have, you know what? My rookie year, Steve Nash told me that. He's like, bro, you can play a long time in this league, but stop worrying about keeping it real and start keeping it right. He told me that. He told me that a long time.
Keep it right.
If you could have one guest on All the Smoke, who would it be? But before you answer, you have to help us get your answer on the show.
Okay.
And before you answer, we've had 3 of your TNT showmates on the show already, so there's only one more left.
Yeah. Who's the one left?
Chuck.
Y'all don't want Chuck. Chuck is gonna say the same shit that you see on TV. He's not gonna change his answer. He's not gonna change.
We're not trying to change his answer. We want to get some stories.
I would like to see him on your show, but he's not like the first person I think of.
Yeah.
I enjoy when you guys have like like people who's part of the basketball culture, but not part of basketball. Because like when you look at your wall,
I can give you an answer.
5 people. You only got 2. You only got 1 basketball player. You see what I'm saying?
I got an answer for you. Just take one.
Who's that?
You just did a movie with him.
Adam Sandler? Adam Sandler, you love.
Huge, yeah.
You love
I'm a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan, bro. We both are.
No, he is honestly the nicest guy I've ever met in my life. He and Drew Carey from Price is Right.
Yeah.
The 2 nicest men I've ever met. Like just genuinely
nice people.
Nice. Other than Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem Olajuwon is the most honorable guy I've
He
met.
called me.
Most honorable.
He called me.
Most honorable. And Adam is the nicest guy ever.
So there we go. You heard it here first. Kenny said he will get Adam Sandler for us.
Before you leave, bro, we got something for you. Somebody we look up to, so we got some gear from all the
I thought these were your sneakers you had back in the day.
The
No, the proteges. Hey,
I love the box of cigarettes.
I wouldn't give you them shoes to the dog that you want.
Well, man, that's a wrap.
Man.
Thank you, Kenny Smith, for your time. We know you're busy, man, but we appreciate you catching us on Showtime Basketball YouTube and the iHeart platform, Black Effects. We'll see y'all next week.
What I want, I felt like it was easier than the college game. I think making the All-Star game my first year, like that was probably like man, like I'm here, you know. But there wasn't like one signature play or moment or game or anything like that. I think just out the gate coming in and putting up work and having success, it's like a dream come true. You know, I didn't. You gotta understand. I talk about it in the book. Like I lacked self-confidence. Like I didn't have great confidence in myself, and I also didn't want to stand out growing up. And I had to get comfortable stepping into greatness. I had to get comfortable with that kind of responsibility. In my last year at Duke, I think I really kind of got to that point, which helped me when I got to the league. But So all that attention, like that wasn't something that I coveted, you know what I'm saying? And so it was a little bit, now you got money, you got fame, you're young, you got a little bit, so it was a little wild that first year. And but it was fun though. I mean, I can't lie,
You recall your first game against? So MJ was retired your rookie year, right? That was the year he missed.
He came back though the end of the year.
End of the year.
Yeah.
So what was your first matchup with him like?
Man, I just wanted to go at him. Like, I played against him with the Dream Team, but I didn't really go against him. And I crossed him up. I remember I was like geeked about that, and we lost the game. But to go against Jordan, like that was. I'll tell you this, man. Jordan has always been good to me. Like he always would. We go out, we go eat. He. I think because he lost his dad, and I think he liked my dad. He was a fan of my dad, and so I don't know if it was me or what, but he always. He talked trash about Duke, Carolina, and all that, but he was good to me. But I tried to go at you. I didn't guard him a lot. I'll tell you what was funny. So the summer after my rookie year, you weren't at UCLA '95.
No.
Man, y'all, Chris Johnson, Toby, man, they ran.
Yeah, Jelani.
Y'all ran LA after y'all won the championship. So I'm out in LA, and I'm filming Living Single, and they created that bubble. And I go over there to play against Jordan. And I played the first day, and I'm giving him the business. Like, I am killing Jordan. Like, I'm not a shooter, but everything I'm shooting is going in. I'm crossing him up. So we're on the lot. They build this bubble. He's got a court. And I'm going at Jordan, and he wants to guard me. I'm giving him the business. Matter of fact, I had the shoes on, my GH2s.
Okay.
And he had his Jordan 10s with the patent. We both had patent leather. And man, I'm killing. After, I'm calling my boys afterwards. Like, man, I'm killing Jordan. Like, he's too little. Like all this stuff. And so the next day, I come over, and I'm confident now. Man, he gave me the bit. Like it was like,
next day.
The next day, and I couldn't get a shot off. He was all that footwork, and he was just. But that was the best runs. I mean, not just in LA, maybe the best runs in the country were in that bubble. And you had Reggie Miller, Jawan Howard, you had a bunch of Dennis Rodman, all the UCLA guys were there. Toby Bailey might have been the biggest celebrity in LA that summer. And but yeah, Jordan, that was a fun summer right there. And had my moment against MJ. I'm talking about giving him business. Like y'all.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
And I know you modest too, so you was really probably giving him that shit.
Yeah.
But G's not gonna talk like that.
You won the gold in 1996 in the Atlanta Olympics. How was it traveling and being with those guys with that team?
Let's name that team, because that's Shaq.
Barkley, Penny, Hakeem, Reggie, Pippen, Stockton, all those guys.
He had a lot of personality. Shaq, Reggie, GP, Charles. Like it was. But the best part were the practices, and we didn't do much. We just scrimmage. So I got a chance to go against Scotty every day, and that was crazy. Like Scotty was great, but I got confident playing against Scotty, and to me he was the gold standard at that point. But it was crazy, man. Like I was there with Shaq when he left to go to LA, and they had the article in the Sentinel in Orlando. We were in Orlando practicing, and they basically had a survey should they pay Shaq or not. I was on the bus with Shaq, and he was in the back, and he was like, I can't believe that they don't want me. And I was like, man, go out west, go to LA, man. Like, we weren't trying to get that big one out the east,
Right.
And but I couldn't believe that they would let Shaq go because he was so dominant at the time.
And they really voted not to pay him?
They didn't pay him.
I know they didn't pay him, but I'm saying there was
the paper did a survey.
Right. Should they?
The Magic pay Shaq or not?
It was supposed to be the first $100 million deal or something like that, or?
And Shaq's big thing was Alonzo got like 110.
Okay.
And he was like, if Alonzo's a BMW, I'm a Porsche. And so if he's getting 110, I should get 125. And so fans there voted, I don't know, the survey, whatever, but it was unanimous no. And so that was crazy. But just being with those guys, man, it was good. I remember, we went out a couple times. It was a little wild, and
pre-camera phones and pre-camera, so y'all was safe.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm gonna just say this. Scotty I went out with him one night, and they threw a party in Orlando. Now, I didn't drink at this point. I didn't drink till I met my wife. But true story. But so I wasn't drinking, and so we went out. We went to Scotty's Hammer. You know, he's drinking. We go back to we go back and play cards all night till about 6, 7. Play Boo-Ray till like 6, 7 in the morning. We got practice at 10. I get to practice. I'm the youngest guy on the team. I have nothing. Scotty is like this dude like running off. I was like, I don't know how. But he and MJ, that's how they roll, man. So I had a lot to learn.
Yeah.
But no, it was great. It was we won a gold medal and play with those guys was a big thrill.
What international players caught your eye around that time?
Oscar Schmidt. He was older at that time, but he was giving me the business. You know, he was tall. He about 6'9". He could shoot it, quick trigger.
I didn't know he was that big.
Big dude, and so he could play. But man, look, we dominated everybody. I mean, it was a true story.
Did you play against Andrew Gaze?
Yeah,
Australia?
I wasn't worried about him.
Yeah.
He was older at that point. But in the Olympics, true story, nobody wanted to be the leading scorer because you got drug tested. And so the only person that got drug tested every game was Karl Malone. It was Karl Malone and whoever the leading scorer was. So we figured it out after a couple games. So at the end of the games, everybody's passing to each other because nobody wants to shoot. And it looks like we're being like real unselfish, but no, nobody wanted to score because it took, another hour of drug testing and all that. So
that's funny.
But it was crazy. It was crazy.
I would have dodged that too. How and where did you celebrate your gold medal?
That's when Tamia and I started. That's when we kind of met before that. So after the gold medal, I got a suite at the Bel Air for 5 weeks. And that's where we were for 5 weeks. She was living in L.A. And 5 weeks before the season, I was in L.A. at the Bel Air Hotel.
Chilling.
Yeah.
She had you open.
She had him open. No, I had her open.
Okay, yeah.
And the book's called Game.
Yeah.
96, your gold medal team or the dream team? Who won it?
Yeah, I mean, we had 6 guys from that original team. We didn't have MJ.
Did you practice with the dream team as a...
So in 92, we beat them.
Right. Your
beat
college team beat them. Who was on the U-Web?
B-Web, Hurley, Penny, Mash, Rodney Rogers, Montrose, Allen Houston. So we played them the first game in 92 in La Jolla. Allen hit about 10 threes. Bobby was getting wherever he wanted. Penny and I were dunking everywhere in transition. Webb was a beast. Webb was just killing them dudes. Like to the point where Larry Bird was like, if that's what's coming in the league, I need to get out.
Damn.
But then the next 2 days, they smacked us. We had no. But that to me was a great gauge to know that I could play at that level. But I like to, look, man, we competitors, man. You always feel like you can win, man. Like that, that's the thing about sports, man. You always feel. We had Shaq. What were they gonna do with Shaq?
Yeah.
Nathan.
Penny was like right.
Yeah,
people don't realize and appreciate how good
but
Penny was.
Penny and Shaq alone.
And so we Reggie, Mitch. I mean, we would have held our own.
Yeah, definitely.
We'd have held our own.
Your run from 94 to 2000 was unprecedented. 5 consecutive All-NBA selections, 21, 8, and 6 over that span. Did you feel personally, you just said you were a competitor, you felt like you were the best player in the league at that time?
Every time I stepped on the floor, probably after like around 96, I felt like I was the best player. And I don't think that's unusual. I know every time this guy stepped on the court, you felt like you were the best player.
Even if I knew I wasn't, you finna see it all on me.
That's what I'm saying. Like you had, like, to me, like I went against MJ, like I'm thinking he got to guard me.
Yeah, right.
And you have to have that mentality. You have to have it. And I think when you're just in the league, you got to, like, Matt, you didn't score 20, 30 points a game. But then when you getting out there, you competing. You got to feel like I'm gonna shut this guy down. I'm gonna bust his ass. Like you have to have that mentality. And so I did. And when I got hurt, and in those 4 years, I lost that. And y'all never got a chance to really see that player in person. But you go 4 years of hurt, I know we'll get into it. We get 4 years of injuries. You start to question yourself, your abilities, your body's ability to stay healthy. And instead of feeling like I'm the best player, I'm just happy to be out there, which is a beautiful thing to have that appreciation. But I lost that edge. I lost that and physically I lost a whole lot as a result as well. So 4 years, it just, you're like, I remember during that time, it was back maybe in 2004. I was at Duke and Coach K, it was the year I sat out, he was like, who are the top 5 players in the league? And I was like, Shaq, Kobe, AI, I'm naming guys. He said, okay, who the next 5? And I go through, give me the next 10. And so I start naming all these guys. He's like, you named 20 guys, you didn't name yourself. And so I didn't quite, at the time, understand, but looking back at it, I had, it was so demoralizing, going through that when I came back, it was let me just, get in where I could fit in. And like I said, I enjoyed it. I was grateful to be able to play, but I lost that mentality.
Mental side is
that
tough.
mental side.
Explain, because like I said, it happened a while ago. You really explain your injuries and how bad your ankle situation really got, because I don't think people understand the extent of your injury.
And he came back still dunking on people.
Barely. I mean, it's a long story, and I get into it in the book, but I got hurt in Detroit, and it was a comedy of errors. It was just, it was mismanaged, the whole thing. And I got hurt. We didn't diagnose it correctly, I think. And it was probably a hairline fracture. It got worse and worse until I broke it. And then when I went to Orlando.
So that was the season before Orlando, correct?
That was my last year in Detroit.
Okay.
I had surgery, but the surgery shouldn't have been, it wasn't a big deal. Every team was still coming after me. I was healing. When I got to Orlando, I was supposed to be out till December, January, but they brought me back in September. And so there was some miscommunication. I ended up getting what's called a non-union. So the best way to explain that is if these 2 fingers are one bone and they break, doctors put the bones back together, they put plates in there to hold it, to let it heal. And what happened with me, they healed, but they healed as 2 separate bones. That's called a non-union. That becomes a problem. That took 3 years to heal. Damn. So, and 3 more surgeries. And so if we had just followed the protocol that was established, then maybe that would have been avoided.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't say that with absolute accuracy, but so that's kind of what happened. Now, the 4th surgery in total, I got septic. I thought I almost died. I had a hole in my ankle from a staph infection. You've seen the ankle, it's nasty. The doctor said if the free flap surgery, they took skin from my arm and sort of used it as a patch over my ankle. If it didn't take, they would have had to amputate the leg. And so...
Not the ankle, the leg.
Yeah, the lower part of your leg. What? And so we didn't have social media. We didn't have the ability now to tell what was going on. So I think a lot of people didn't know
how big it was, right?
How serious it was. And so I go through all of that in the book. It was 4 or 5 years of just craziness. But so that's why you lose that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You just man, I almost died. At one point I didn't want to come back. But you just man, I'm just happy to be out here.
What age are you, not to cut you off, what age are you at that time?
2000, I'm 27.
Damn, right in your prime.
And you know what's crazy, man? Writing this book, going through it all, and I talked to you earlier about you gotta stay in the moment. You can't, I didn't deal with all of the baggage, mentally, emotionally. I was just trying to fight to keep playing.
Right.
Getting into the Hall of Fame, in that moment you reflect, writing your story. I dealt with it then.
And
so, yeah, a lot of that, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that.
That's heavy.
It was stark.
Right.
Even the Hall of Fame should be the icing on the cake. The ultimate, regardless of what happened or didn't happen, it validates you.
Right.
and I was mad.
Yeah.
I was bitter because I'm thinking, y'all only got 6 years.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't get. I didn't get a chance to see this all the way through.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I didn't deal with that until after my career because I'm fighting, man. I'm just trying to stay on the court.
Yeah.
You're not gonna really look back at the good and the bad while you're in the midst of it.
I say this because you're our big brother. Like, you're the biggest what if ever. Like, we all look like you were the next prototype. They were fitting you to be the next MJ because that's how talented you were. You know what I mean? And it's just like to hear you kind of explain your story on what you went through. Like, you were robbed, we were robbed. Like, you were going where no one has really been for your size, your position, and what you brought to the game. So I always wanted to know, like, obviously we're cool and I've known you for years, you're my big brother, but we've never got that in depth.
Right.
Like, I couldn't imagine, like you said, you finally unloaded that baggage 20 plus years later.
Yeah.
Because, like, you were on pace to be one of the, if not, you know, who knows, one of the greatest players of all time. And to have injury derail that, like, it's just, I always, that's why I'm definitely going to read this, but just as fuck the basketball side, the mental side had to be not only on the court, but off the court in your personal life and all that just weighed on you.
It did. And you know, everybody's got something, and everybody goes through something. And sometimes, and I don't want to equate this because there's people who have far more traumatic things in their life, but sometimes we suppress that. Sometimes you suppress it to survive. And but ultimately you get through it by acknowledging it and dealing with it. And so I never unpacked it. And I didn't realize how much it impacted me. And like I didn't think that, like, because I used to say to myself, like, coming back from the injury, playing 9 more years, that's far greater than anything I did prior. Because I know what I went through.
Right.
But I don't think I really unpacked like how hard that was for me and how difficult that was to go through that. And you know, genetics, hard work, whatever. But like I had a chance. You know, you have a chance to leave a legacy, and I think I did. I mean, I had a great career, but I had a chance to be really, really special. And it's interesting, man. Like I'm being honest here. Like when the NBA 75 came out.
Yes, thank you.
No,
Here we go.
We've been
And
arguing.
so T-Mac, you know, Vince. I mean, there's a bunch of Dwight. Come on, Dwight shit around there, man. Like.
Kyrie.
I mean, no. So I kind of like, and maybe this is a way to like protect myself. But I was like, you know what? I get it. I got hurt. You know, I didn't see it all the way through. The Hall of Fame is college and NBA. So my college helped get me in. So my body of work wasn't enough. So I kind of justified it,
Bro.
But let me just tell you, I'm being honest. So I'm at the All-Star game in Cleveland, and I'm working that night. I'm working the pregame, the post-game, and all that goes on. And it hit me then. And that was, I was emotional. And I was surprised I was emotional. You know, you're trying to protect, you're not trying to show it, but you're feeling like fuck, I should be out there. And I remember 25 years ago, I was in that building for the 50th, and it was All-Star Weekend. And I said, you know what? If they ever do this again, I'm gonna be on that next team. And when I was there, and no disrespect to these guys, because they deserving to be on it. I'm fans of theirs. They're brothers of mine. I love them to death. But when I saw people like, you know, guys from my era like Ray and Reggie, and I used to be like, man, I used to get them the business. Like, that's what I was thinking.
Right.
And so I had, you know, and they're deserving. So I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
So that it hit me, and so like there's still baggage, like there's still,
Definitely, man.
you know what I'm saying, and so, but it kind of triggered me a little bit. But you know, I mean, look, I mean,
You're better than Danny Shays, bro. I'm sorry.
man, when you said it,
Dolph
about me.
Shays, excuse me, Dolph Shays. You're better than Dolph Shays.
Hey, let me.
He was top
Hey,
75.
I want to say
I'm
something.
sorry.
I want to say something.
I was nicer than Dolph Shays.
Look, you gotta give him respect for his time. But look, I want to say something about y'all, man, because I know y'all interviewing me. But I played. First of all, I remember Matt. I watched you play during the lockout at UCLA, and I remember hearing you were a football player. And then fast forward, I think it was 07. Y'all had y'all run in Golden State. And I'm like, who is this light-skinned crazy motherfucker out here? He ran across the court and checked Devin Hay or somebody. And I was like, yo, this dude is crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but then I played with you And people get to see the different sides of you guys now, but the thing that showed me a lot about you was when our teammate Barbosa and his mother passed. And your mom had,
Just
unfortunately,
passed.
from cancer. And I'm not trying to bring it up, but and I know that was hard for you, but to see you there for him, and he's crying, he's going through it, and I didn't know how to be supportive because I hadn't really gone through it, but I was like, yo, this dude, Matt, all that other stuff, and all the stuff that you've gone through. I played with you with the Clippers. You're coming to the aid of a teammate.
Always.
All your stuff, all your smoke, it was
defense of
you're
my
defending
teammates.
a teammate.
Yeah.
And then this dude right here, the same thing in the Palace. You coming to the aid of a
One time I've
teammate.
been in trouble.
Yeah.
Coming to the aid of a teammate. Everybody, I didn't play with you, Stack, but everybody that's played with you that I know thinks the world of you. And so I was like as teammates and guys, I could be in the trenches with these two right here.
Easy.
I was with Matt. I didn't, I played one, it was a little messed up in Phoenix, but in LA, I didn't play, I watched.
Can you imagine that real quick in the Phoenix shit? They fired Terry Porter at All-Star break. That was our coach. First of all, I'm going come out of the We Believe season. Nelly mad I don't sign a 3-year deal, so he gets rid of me. I'm going to there, and G's there, and I tell him, remember, to honor, you're my favorite player. I don't know if I made him feel old at the time, but I'm going to fucking
I
play
used
with.
to tell him that during the
I'm
game.
going to play with Grant Hill,
So let me
bro.
first of all, it was a crazy year, and they fired him. And yeah, we had too much talent, man. We had so much. We should have been.
Remember Stat Cock?
Stat Cock,
superhero.
Jay Rick. We had so much talent,
bro.
But the crazy thing was, with this dude right here, I don't know if you remember this, but we played in Orlando. And I think after the whole thing in the past, that was 04, 05.
Yep.
And in 06, I had a sports hernia, so I don't know if we played against each other until 06, 07. And we're in Orlando, and I'm guarding him. And we're right on the sidelines. And somebody yells something slick out to you about, I turned around and cursed him out.
Yeah, G.
And you remember that?
I remember that.
I cursed him out.
I
And
remember that.
I didn't know how we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
But, because I'm there, I got to guard this dude. And I don't need, you know what I'm saying? But but and then we played the next year, I think, at Golden State.
You was in Phoenix.
And, man, y'all ran up and down the court. That year, I was like, we
Basketball was fun.
It was fun, but I always said, he was top 3, 4 guys I had to guard. I could never figure him out.
Yeah, Jack.
I couldn't figure Jack out.
I studied him.
No, but I couldn't. Nah. But you had a different game. You could shoot it. You played with it. You couldn't speed you up. You shot it, behind your head. And I could guard. I had you couldn't guard guys, but you had a playbook for guys. Okay, LeBron, I'm gonna try to do this. Or Melo, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything with Kobe.
Nobody could.
I couldn't, I'm out there with one leg, and they got me out here 38 trying to guard Kobe. I'm looking at Matt like, can you believe it?
You was getting after it though.
Yeah,
You was getting after it.
Competed.
But I couldn't figure you out, man. I Pierce, I had a game plan for, and I actually did well against these guys, but people don't appreciate how good you were. I think those that know,
Get a bucket.
those that know. I've always told you that.
Yeah. Always same.
I want to backtrack a little bit. So you go to Orlando. This is you, T-Mac, and a possibility of getting Tim Duncan at the time. Walk us through this. So you're going through injury and trying to get back on the court. You're teaming up with a young T-Mac, and then there's whispers or rumors that you could possibly get Tim.
So what happened was Tim and I we had the same agent. So we went down together. And Tim, I think, was more in at the time than I was. I was still, I had New York. I had a couple other teams I was looking at. But Tim wanted to be in Orlando if he were to leave. And so we were down there and they were hosting us. And they had just had a pretty good season. Doc Rivers' first year coaching. I think they were 500. And so while we were there, everything was going well. It just felt like, this could happen. And I know it's hard for people now to think of Tim Duncan anywhere else.
Right.
He was after his 30. I think he won a championship in San Antonio. And I'm telling you, man, I remember it like it was yesterday. We were at dinner, and Tim's girlfriend asked Doc a question. can wives and girlfriends travel on a team plane?
Yeah, I remember that.
And you gotta understand, back then that didn't happen. It happens now, but back then it didn't happen. And so Doc said, no, it's a business trip. That doesn't happen. I don't allow that. Now, I didn't know that San Antonio had started doing that.
Yes.
You know, and so that's why, because I'm thinking that's a bold question. Like, I'm like, why is she asking that question? And so, but I didn't pay much attention to it. So we got back to the hotel that night. And it was funny because Tamia and I, we're in the hotel, almost like the hotel room was bugged. So we're whispering to each other, like, you know, and she's like, he ain't coming. I said, what do you mean? She's like, when she asked that question, her whole body language changed with that response. And I was like, nah, whatever. So anyway, we get back to Detroit. It's a funny story. So it was too much. I'm on crutches. So I ended up saying, you know what, have the teams come visit me in Detroit. So New York comes in and they bring Star Jones, they bring like all these actors and actresses in. They got this tape they play. They got like Seinfeld, Brooke Shields, and all these people. Like, come, you know, you look at Orlando's like, wait till you come to New York. Like, and I always wanted to play in New York. So Leon, you know, the actor Leon.
I talk to him all the time.
So I asked him about this. So he's on the video. He's like, gee, you think the women are nice in Detroit. Wait till you come to New York. And so Tamia was like, oh, hell no. Turn that tape off.
Turn that tape off.
And to this day, we talk. She's like, man, you think that New York would have watched the tape? And so anyway, you know, New York didn't happen. But, and by then I was probably going to Orlando. But, so then T-Mac, like, but there was a chance as Tim was trying to figure it out, T-Mac, you know, he's from down there. So it was coming together that like all three of us might play together. And I didn't know how good T-Mac was at that time. And so I didn't know until he got to Orlando. I was like, oh my God, this guy right here is incredible. So not being able to be healthy to play with Mac is something that he and I talk about all the time. Just like wishing that we could have done it.
T-Mac and G.
Despite all the injuries, you know how me and Matt feel about you.
Right.
A lot of people feel the same way about you. Even though the injuries, you still had a Kobe-esque career in our minds, the way we look at you.
Right.
When you go back and look at all that, what's your thoughts? Like how grateful are you, you know, to make it through all that, the injury, and still be able to come back and finish on a good note?
Yeah, that was special. I mean, it was a good thing. You know, on one hand, I didn't appreciate how good I was, and that sounds arrogant, but I didn't appreciate how good I was in Detroit because we weren't winning. And so the one thing I learned from this process of writing the book is when we have success, we got to celebrate that. Right. There's a story, 2000 All-Star game. So 99, we had a lockout, so we didn't have an All-Star game. 2000, San Francisco. We're there, we play, or I guess in Oakland, old Oracle Arena. such a stupid story. So I'm thinking, okay, Jordan's gone. Because in the All-Star game with Jordan, we had to defer to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, no one said it, but you just felt like
unspoken rule.
You just got to get the ball, especially in '98 when Kobe was there, and like they're going, you know, the whole thing. We had to like, which I got issues with the whole the documentary. It was a great documentary, but it made it seem like I was scared. Like we were on the bench, and what happened was in that game, Penny was hurt that year. He sat out the whole year, came back for 2 games, played an All-Star game. He had GP guarding. It was Kobe and MJ, and then people forget Garnett was a 3 early in his career. So Garnett and I matched up. So Penny didn't want to handle the ball because he's not healthy and he's got to go against GP. So I'm bringing the ball out. I was point forward. So I'm always back in transition. We're farting around. It's 3-on-1. GP got Kobe and Garnett. He's throwing lobs. I'm back. So I'm not trying to be in the frame on these alley-oops. So in the timeout, I'm like, y'all got to get back. Because I'm out here on the island, man, with these young boys, you know. So the way it looked like I was like scared of Kobe. I mean, I had great respect for Kobe, but I wasn't scared of him then.
Right.
You know, so 2000 All-Star. So, you know, the trainers always would carry your, I had contacts then. So my trainer, Mike Abdenauer in Detroit, would always keep contacts. So if I ran out, I would just go get some from him. So I only had one pair of contacts. And the day of the game, my one contact ripped. And so I'm like, do I play with no contacts? So I put one in. And now I'm all screwed up during the game. I threw a lob to Vince. I promise you, I threw it over the backboard.
Yeah.
And so, and I remember I told Chip England, who's, Chip from San Antonio. I told Chip, I said, oh man, it's always next year. Like I'll wear, next year. And so next year didn't happen. And so I say all that to say that you gotta celebrate when we have success. And life's not guaranteed, and we gotta celebrate each other and celebrate yourself. I didn't do that when I was in Detroit because to me, I was chasing Isaiah. And until we won, I didn't give myself permission to celebrate. And so being able to go back now and like, you know what, I actually was all right. Because here's the thing, you guys remember that? I remember trying to guard Kobe at 38 with a bad wheel. I remember like standing in the corner waiting for the ball to come to me. Like that's what I remember. I didn't remember those years. And so the exercise of not just the dark, but also the light, the good, the positive, and just appreciating that, as you said.
A lot of people remember them full speed crossovers. Trust me.
For real.
Full speed coming at you with the crossover. Pippen, I remember when he got Pippen and banged on it.
Pippen was too light, man. He was like 215, man. I could just...
You came right at it.
Where we got? 220, 230?
230.
230?
Yeah, so...
For all you young people, Google him. Google him.
What was the 2010 playoff experience like with Steve Nash?
That was the Western Finals run, right?
Yeah. You played...
I was gone. I was
you in Orlando.
Oh, yeah. 2010.
2010.
Yeah.
Were you in Orlando?
Yeah.
We had a good year. It was weird because we had... As great as Shaq was and as great as Steve were, they didn't really mix. And so when Shaq left and Amari was healthy and then Alvin Gentry was coaching us, we had a really good season. We were third seed and we beat Portland, we beat San Antonio, and then we faced LA. They got us the first two games in LA. We beat them the next two games. And in game 5, man, we're right there on the ropes. Jay Rich banks in a 3 to tie it in overtime. Kobe gets a ball, a three-pointer. The one time he missed a shot on me, like in that situation, he airballed it. I'm right there in his face. He airballs it, but Meta World Peace gets the rebound. Jay Rich didn't box him out. He tip in, and they win game 5. And I don't know if emotionally we recovered. And then Kobe in game 6, he started, dude.
In his bag.
And so here's the thing, man. So he's doing this. And he always, look, with Kobe, like with LeBron, like when I guarded LeBron back then, my attitude was, I'm not gonna crash the offensive glass. When we shoot, I'm gonna find him. I'm not gonna let him get out in the open court, full head of steam. So I'm not gonna let him turn the corner and go right and get to the rim. I'm gonna make him make contested jump shots, and I'm not gonna foul him. If he posts me up, don't help, because he beat you with his passing as much as. So he had a game plan, and I actually did okay. I mean, LeBron would have moments, but I didn't have a strategy for Kobe. I didn't know what to do. And so sometimes, man, I would just he'd go up and shot. I would just hit his arm, and just And the problem too was I couldn't go back at him. Because at my role, in Phoenix, Nash had the ball in his hand, so I'm stuck in the corner, and I'm not, I'm not a spot-up shooter. So he was hard to defend. But in that moment, man, a couple times I guessed right. I'm like, he's gonna go right, he's gonna shot fake. I'm not, I know what he's gonna do. And I'm like, and then you know how hard it is.
Saying this when you're squared off against him, you're saying that in your head as you're defending him?
I knew he wanted to go right, and I knew he had a great ball fake, and I've seen him do it before. And so that one shot right in front of our bench, where he tapped Alvin on and so he hit a tough shot on me before that, and I tried to deny him the ball, but he gets it. He goes right, I go with him. He shot fakes. I don't go for it. I get closer into him. I go up when he goes up. You know how hard it is to do a shot fake reload from 3.
And somebody in your group.
And I couldn't be any closer to him without fouling. Man, this dude hit like I was like, I mean, I was actually proud of the defense I played.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking like, I couldn't have done anything other than just prevent him from getting the ball, but he was the best player I played against. And I say this respectfully to Jordan. I didn't guard Jordan. Pippen and I matched up.
Yeah.
But the best player that I played against, hands down, was Kobe. And one of my regrets, it's in the book. In 2007, when I left Orlando, Phil Jackson called me 3
Supposed
times.
to get traded for him, right?
No, well, that was in Detroit. I
Oh,
don't
that
know
was
how
later.
true that. I don't know how true
okay.
that was. I've heard that, but I don't know how
Okay.
true that was. But when I left Orlando, Phil called 3 times. I didn't call him back.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, oh, it's over in LA. Kobe, he's talking about Bynum, and they're imploding in the playoffs, and all. I just thought the run was over in LA, and I ended up going to Phoenix in part to stay healthy. But I think Phil would have played me more suited for my game. He liked tall guys that could handle, and I think he wanted me to come in and kind of be a primary ball handler or whatever. Me sitting in the corner was not
That
my
wasn't your
game.
thing.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I played it, I did my role, but like that wasn't who I was. And so I think now, like, man, if I had that would have been interesting. We were number 1 in the West, but then they traded for Gasol. And then later that season, and that was a game changer for the Lakers. And they, you went on and had a
Rest is
great
history.
run.
Yeah. Played with some great teammates. Anyone, who's your favorite teammate during your career?
Damn, man, 19 years, man. That's
you got a hell of a run.
I think in Detroit, Lindsey, Allen, those are my guys. We came in together. In Orlando it was tough because I didn't play a whole lot in Orlando. Jameer, was good people.
Jameer.
Actually it's crazy. You know who and I bonded a lot because we were rehabbing all the damn time was Pat Garrity.
Pat Garrity.
We were hurt 2 years, so we spent a lot of time together.
Pat Garrity had a winner.
I enjoyed playing. I mean, we didn't hang out. We didn't, I didn't partake. But I enjoyed Matt, man. Like Matt was, I'm telling you, he was like just in terms of teammates doing whatever's needed.
Yeah, the ultimate teammate.
You know what I'm saying? Like people don't get enough credit for that or give you enough credit for that. But like, you should have started in LA with the Clippers that year. But you came off the bench. You never made a. I remember seeing you at the facility. Like you didn't have. I don't think you had it was like late too. Might have been like August, September, and you were unsure where you were gonna sign. And you were in there just playing pickup ball every day, and then you playing so well they brought you in. But like, just like whatever's needed. You know what I'm saying? Didn't complain. Just did what he had to do. If something popped off. He was always in it. Like he was there for your teammate. Like but there's so many, man. I mean, Nash was fun to play with. Barbosa was a good guy. Those Phoenix years were fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had a favorite, but Shaq was fun.
Man.
Shaq was crazy.
Remember the Shaq and Lou Amundsen back and forth? Remember when Shaq took his mouthpiece and put it in his tights during shoot-around?
I was just talking with Shaq about that last night, man.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show,
Shaq
too.
is the craziest
Nasty
teammate.
motherfucker,
Nasty.
man.
Man, hey, man, Shaq. I mean, there's so many stories, man, with
naked,
Shaq,
tackling
man.
people.
He
riding
was
on his
naked
bike,
all the
butt
time.
naked. Remember riding on Lou's bike, butt naked?
Yo, man, I'm an out Shaq right here, but I remember one time it's so bad, man. I remember one time, man, Shaq. It's so bad, man. I can't repeat that, man.
Come on, you already started.
Man, we're in the showers after practice, and he goes to Jay Rich. Jay Rich, you got a fat ass, man. I'm like, I'm like, how do you come back? Like, what does Jay Rich do, man? Like, you know what I'm saying? Shaq was just, he was funny.
Shaq is
he
funny.
was nasty. He was crazy.
Big old kid.
And we had poor Terry Porter, man. He had no chance.
Remember we used to say to Bill Cartwright, I averaged 50. What he used to break his stats down against Bill Cartwright.
So Terry Porter, we're in film session, and we're watching film in the film room, and he stopped film and said, Shaq, like, don't you think you could come over from the weak side and maybe block the shot right here. And Shaq would be like, TP, I'm top 5 all time in the NBA in shot blocks. I think I know when I can block the shot.
Yeah.
Just the disrespect, the craziness.
But so calm though.
But so calm about. A couple times he show up late. This is bad too. But he show up late for practice. Ain't nobody.
It's just Shaq.
It was Shaq, but
It's
he showed
okay.
up late and like, Coach, I'm sorry, man. The passport truck tipped over on 51, man. There were Mexicans everywhere. That's why I'm late to practice. Like he would just, he would say things, man. It was constant humor, man, and he just kept it light. He was fun. He was crazy. We didn't make the playoffs, but he was entertaining. I can't believe I told those stories, man.
No,
But
Shaq was-
bro.
every day,
Shaq was
was
something.
I'm not
with Shaq.
surprised.
Every
When
day.
Bill Cartwright used to coach the bigs, Bill, I averaged so-and-so and so-and-so and so will go against you in this game, and my career number from high school to college and the pros, he would break all the shit down.
I'm 70% lifetime from the field. Give me the damn ball. Middle
Just
school,
say the
high
wa-
school.
Shaq
He said, I can't listen to Cartwright. I averaged 30 and 10 against him. Like, he just,
Facts.
Just unbelievable,
Shaq, man,
bro.
he was
Unbelievable.
he was
And
funny,
Bill Cartwright's
man.
just like,
He was, man, Shaq.
I mumble under his breath.
Shaq was funny.
Fast forward, co-owner with the Hawks. How did you happen to land that spot? Congratulations, by the way.
Appreciate that. When we were in LA, I wasn't playing, I was hurt. Matter of fact, it was that December when we were undefeated. We had a great month. I figured I was in LA, my family was in Phoenix. So once a month I would have dinner with this Duke alum, a guy named Bruce Karsh. And Bruce actually is one of the partners with the Warriors.
Okay.
And he's a Duke grad. So we were talking about the Clippers. And I was like, I think they might be in play. I'm hearing they may have to sell the team for estate tax reasons. So we kind of concocted this whole this plan that we knew Adam was going to be commissioner the next year. All three of us Duke grads. Let's meet with Adam and see if we can get in to, maybe buy a piece of the team with the chance to buy it all later down the road. And then the next year, everything implodes. And so Bruce brought in a guy, Tony Wrestler, because he knew now it was going to be an open auction when the team was for sale. And we bid $1.2 billion. And funny story. So I'm in New York with Bruce Karsh. Tony's in LA. We're all on speakerphone. And we're on the phone. They're going to get mad that I told this story. We're on the phone and we're like, okay, $1.2 billion is going to be our deal.
That's for the Clippers?
That's to buy the Clippers,
Okay.
which we were outbid by $800 million, Steve Ballmer. But we're on the phone. They're like, all right. So Tony says, I'll put in $500 million. And then Bruce says, I'll put in $500 million. And then they look at me. And so I swear I said, I got 5 on it. Like, just to, I was being funny.
Yeah.
And but I told them my amount, and they just wanted to know that I was gonna put something in.
Yeah.
And you have to put something in. So, but that didn't work. The Hawks came up right after. Similar circumstances, some racial overtones, some emails, so on and so forth. And I ended up getting Tony and convinced him on Atlanta. I think the perception of Atlanta historically, the franchise, was just
Way off.
it just wasn't good. You played there, so it was. And so I felt like for me, my selling point was we got a chance to come in and add value. You got a great city, international airport, quality of life. Guys like to be in Atlanta. They
Cost
live there
of
in the
living.
off-season. Cost of living's low.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? All of that. We got a chance to come in and change that narrative and build an emotional connection with the franchise. If you're from Boston and you're a basketball fan, there's a 99% chance you're a Celtics fan. But if you're from Atlanta, you might be a Bulls fan. You might be, it's so transient. People aren't really from there. So, we came in and, redo the arena, practice facility, try to create an atmosphere, try to understand Atlanta, embrace what Atlanta is. The previous ownership group thought it was too much diversity.
Too black. You can say, I'll say it for
Too
you.
black.
Yeah.
And so we've tried to embrace who we are. I love when you go to a game in Atlanta, you got people from all walks of life, different political, different ethnicities, different gender orientation, all there supporting the team. But we're building that, we're trying to build it. And Trae Young having a young star is helpful, but But yeah, so we're changing that. We I don't know if you've been to a game in Atlanta. I know you have.
Y'all see me there? I be in your seat. You be giving me in his seats. He be
But it's
giving
a
me his
party,
seats.
man. Like, man, it's a party at our game. We got concerts. We got 2 Chainz as a partner with the G League team.
The food is unbelievable.
The food, we got sweets, we got amenities. We're trying to create an environment there.
Barbershop.
We got a killer mic, got a barbershop. Let me tell you the genius of that. It's dead space that you could not sell.
Yeah.
And so we said, let's make it a barbershop. We got a DJ in there.
Swag shop.
There's a whole energy in there, a whole vibe. And so just embracing Atlanta. We try to reflect Atlanta in all that we do, and we got a lot more work to do, but excited about the progress we've made.
Man, coming down the home stretch, post-career, you've been very successful. What are some other things you're into outside of ownership of that at Hawks?
Yeah, I got a lot on my plate, man. Maybe a little too much, but I'm on
such thing.
I'm on the board of Campbell Soup. So we, in our portfolio, we have everything from Cape Cod chips, kettle chips, obviously Campbell Soup, chunky soup. I'm on the board of Empire State Realty Trust. We own the Empire State Building. We'd love to have you guys come do a show.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Empire State Building. I'll personally host you a day.
Y'all hear that? We're
Down the road, we can make that happen.
You got it.
It's on me. We make that happen. We'd be honored. Managing director of USA Basketball, so I'll be picking the Olympic team.
That's fine.
And Steve Kerr is our head coach for the next cycle. What else am I doing? I'm on the board of Duke.
Shoes coming back out.
Shoes coming back out. Matter of fact,
He lacing us.
this is a partnership right here with Tupac Estate. And
Oh, is it
so
really?
it's a partnership. These will be coming out. He wore the GH2s
Butter rim.
on the All Eyes on Me
I was about to say it was on with the outfit.
Yeah, and so that really helped with the shoe. But yeah, just keeping it busy, man. We're rebuilding downtown Atlanta. We're pouring $4 billion into downtown Atlanta,
Looking good too.
and so trying to do like an LA Live kind of in downtown Atlanta. So just staying busy, man. Doing TV as well. Trying to be like y'all.
Love it. Is it true Anita Baker introduced you and Tamia?
Kinda, yeah, kinda. So Isaiah has his jersey retired, and Anita Baker sings the national anthem at the game. So afterwards, there was a reception. I meet Anita Baker. So she and her husband. So she's like, So I know you got a girl. I know you like breaking all the hearts and all this. And I'm just like, yeah, I can't find. I'm struggling. I wasn't really struggling. I was like, I'm struggling. You gotta hook me up. This, that, and the other. And so the next week, she was at the Soul Train Awards, and she met Tamia. And Tamia was, from Windsor, which is right across the river from Detroit. Big fan of Anita. So she was telling her this, and he was like, I got just the guy for you. So she planted the seed. I ended up connecting with Tamia, a couple months later. But, it's a good story to say Anita hooked us up. And it's partially true.
Yeah,
It's partially true.
You bring me joy.
Your oldest daughter's in MMA. As a father, what is that like, watching your daughter punch people in the face and get punched in the face?
Dude,
I don't understand.
it's
crazy.
You have girls. You
Wow.
2 boys, but
Yeah.
3 boys. Excuse me.
boys, yeah.
So she started doing jujitsu, and as a parent, you think, okay, girl, young lady, getting to go off to college, learn self-defense. That's a good thing. But that just
Kept going.
kept going, and so right before COVID, she's like, Dad, I think I want to fight. So I got a buddy who's general counsel at UFC, so I took her to a fight. We're sitting up close. I'm thinking, she sees up close, she won't want to do it. So we get there, it's in North Carolina, we go to the fight, we fly home that night, we get in at 2 a.m. I'm like, Mila, what do you think? She's like, Dad, I could be a champion. And I was like, so it backfired. Like my plan didn't work. But she kept going, and she fought last October. And I mean, she's passionate about it. And if your parents tried to tell you couldn't play basketball,
you're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, you gotta support your
Gotta
kids,
support
whatever they want to do. So let me tell you, so Tamia and I, so she goes to the fight, she goes early. We drive from Orlando to Lakeland, Florida, about an hour drive. We don't say a word in the car. There's no music, nothing on the radio. We're not saying it. There's a nervous energy. We get to the fight, there's a bar. Man, we probably each had about 8 rum and cokes.
I know, right?
You just had to.
Had
so
that edge.
by the time she came on, she comes out. Her walkout music was Rick Ross.
Y'all feeling good?
The devil is a lie. So she comes out. I'm like, all right, you know. We're like
This your first time actually seeing it?
first time seeing it.
Yeah.
So she gets in the ring. She goes in first. The young lady she's fighting, who's fought before, who looks like she's been in some fights, you know. And so we're a little nervous about it. Like she comes with studs in her ears, and that's a no-no. So they can't get them out. And so they're going through all this. They're trying to get them out. It's been 10 minutes. So now we're kind of mad.
It's a tactic.
That they're stalling. So now Tamia, I won't repeat what Tamia was saying, but it's what they say in Memphis a lot. And so anyway, she gets in the ring, she chokes her out with 50 seconds. And, you know, so she's into it, man. And, you know, what do you do, man? You know, but
Just been flying.
you know, I mean, she's quiet, sweet, kind, like the last person you would think. Dude, she goes 6 days a week. She teaches it. She loves it. She's a brown belt. Like she wants to fight. She wants to try to go for it. She wants to open up gyms down the road. So she's got a plan, and you know, we'll see what happens.
That's dope.
You were always forward thinking in basketball, so much that you didn't have an agent. Where did that idea come from, and you were able to be successful?
I realized early on that the NBA is a global marketing and public relations firm that's disguised as a league. We went to China. Remember we went to China? And we were over there, and people knew who we were. We go places, recognize us, and that's because that's what the NBA does. And so I felt like I needed an attorney who could negotiate my contracts. But all the marketing opportunities, that was coming from the league. That was coming from different, you know, because the league's pushing young players. And I was delivering early on. So why am I going to pay somebody 10, 20%? And then why am I going to let them own that relationship and leverage it? I want to sit with Coca-Cola and Sprite. I want to sit with Nestle. I want to sit with and talk about marketing plans, sit with the ad agency. A lot of times agents might leverage that, you know, for another client.
Right, scratch their back.
And so, you know, I got hurt. All that momentum kind of went away, but it was invaluable experience, like having an office, having employees, doing evaluations, raises, sitting in meetings, talking about strategy. Like I'm doing all this while I'm playing. And it just helped me think about and learn about other things. So, you know, it was fun and I had a good time. And, you know, maybe if I had the muscle of a big time marketing firm, maybe things would have been a little different, but I had a lot of
pretty
deals.
well.
I had a lot of deals.
Real quick, before we get to quick hitters, the Sprite situation.
I thought you were going to ask about the night Biggie.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Because I remember you asked me about that in L.A.
Yeah.
I talk about it in the book.
So, yeah, the night Biggie passed.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that. Damn, I totally forgot about that. We just had the photographer that. Go ahead.
We in L.A.
So here.
March 8th, because he died on the 9th.
My birthday's the 9th.
That's right, March 9th. And so we played the Clippers. We beat the Clippers. I did work. I did my thing. And so Tamia's label is throwing a party. So after the game, I go with Tamia. I don't know if you know Jay Brown.
Yeah.
So Jay was at the label. We get in the limo. We go back to Tamia's manager's house. First of all, that first night, that was the first time I heard Hypnotize. It wasn't on the radio yet, but
Just
they had
came out.
disc. And they kept saying Detroit players, you know, Pink Gators mighty. So I run that back. So we're in the limo every time, you know, hearing that song. So we go to the party. Now understand, T and I have been together almost a year. That was the first time we had been out publicly.
Yeah.
And so we walk in and everybody turns. Like everybody's looking at us because they hadn't seen us out. But everybody was there. We saw Biggie, we saw Puffy. We weren't there long. We might have been there 10 minutes. We might have left 5 minutes before they left. Because when we left, they were kind of near the door. And by the time we got back to Tamia's place, it had already circulated that he got killed. And so it was crazy. It was a little weird thinking that they were out there. Because it was still all that East Coast, West Coast stuff. And shoot, that even happened with Tamia. Like she got caught up. We got caught up in the situation. she was in the studio working on her album. Stevie J produced one of the songs. And so before I got there, I'm with Jay Brown. We're at Benihana's. We're doing sake bombs. And so we come to the studio. So before we get there, they were in the Commons room, Stevie J and his bodyguard, and the Outlaws are in the other studio. And so I guess they had words in the common area. Somebody pulled out a gun. So this all happens before we get there. So I show up, we get there, and 10 minutes after we get there, police come in, rifles drawn, we're all on the wall. I'm thinking like, this R&B session. Like, I'm like, man,
Right, this ain't rap, right?
And so anyway, I found out what happened, and I don't know what ultimately happened, but I say that was probably the summer of '97. So there was just still tension, right? You know what I'm saying? And so when we saw Biggie and them it was just like, I mean, I didn't think what happened would happen, but it was just, it was weird.
Energy was off.
Yeah, it was a weird night.
Yeah.
It was a weird night for obvious
I forgot all about
reasons.
that. Real quick before we get to quick hitters, the Grant Hill drink Sprite. I mean, to me, that and Little Penny are kind of what I remember growing up from, like, athletes and commercials. So how did that come about and the idea and behind the actual commercial?
The idea, it was kind of genius, man. It was basically obey your thirst. Don't let somebody tell you to drink it. And so we're making fun of pitchmen and making fun of myself. And so that was Sprite attaching himself, aligning himself with the NBA. I got involved with that. So we had a great run, did a lot of fun commercials. Even did a commercial with Kobe his second year. Crazy story. We did a commercial together. His second year, during the season, I fly out to LA. Now, I'm the big, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're the man, yeah.
It's like midway, it's before the All-Star break. But he's young, he's got a lot, he's having a great second year. I fly out to LA, and we're gonna do this commercial where he's on one shoulder, I'm on the other shoulder, and we're going back and forth with this kid. And so when you do these commercials, you approve the script before you commit. So the script had been approved for a week. So I fly all the way out to LA on an off day. We get there, and the director comes in, and he says, Kobe wants to rewrite the script. And I'm like, he wants to what? He wants to rewrite the script. I'm like, all right. So they come back like 30, 45 minutes later. He got all the good lines now. He got all the good lines. And I'm like, look, nah. I said, man, look, I come all the way out here. This is what I agreed to. If he wants to do this, I'm gonna get back on the plane and fly back. And so, now meanwhile, we're trailers right next to me. We just could have gone and talked to each other. But that was cold. Like, I kind of respect that he was bold enough to want to do that. And anyway, we went back, we did a script that we agreed to. But yeah, the Sprite stuff, man, that was fun. And poking fun at people having pitchmen was the whole premise behind the Sprite campaign.
Dope. Well, man, it's been a great interview. Quick hitters, first thing to come to mind, let us know. Duke, all-time starting five, including yourself. So you plus 4, all-time Dukes. Dukies.
Man, I gotta go with Leitner. He did work. He was killer.
He was a killer.
I think Leitner's top 3, top 5, maybe all time in college, just in terms of his accomplishments. Leitner, I gotta go with Johnny Dawkins because he kind of set it off. People don't appreciate how talented he was. You're gonna get me in trouble, man.
2 more.
I'm gonna show the young fellas some love, Jason Tatum. I think when it's all said and done, I think he's gonna be the best.
Ooh.
And he might already be there. I don't know if there was a more skilled guy coming in out of high school. Had it all, offensively.
That final spot.
Kyrie.
Oof.
He was only there for 9 days, and I know sometimes we claim him, sometimes we don't. But talent, he was.
So Kyrie,
Dawkins,
yourself, Leitner, Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a nice 5.
It's a nice 5 right there.
What album can you listen to with no skips?
Can't have your wife. No brownie points here.
Biggie's first album.
Ready to
Born
was it
to Die.
Born to Die.
Born to Die?
Yeah, Born to Die.
The little baby on the front.
That's my favorite one right there, yeah.
I mean, you kind of already mentioned if you have a better story, but best Kobe or MJ story off the court.
Kobe, probably like 98. I go up one night. Tamia's she's living on the Wilshire corridor. And I think we're engaged at this point, and it's late. Like I go to the men's gym in UCLA, maybe like midnight, and I'm redoing my shots. So I'm changing my mechanics, and I'm just going in there to do like just some set shots by myself. And I go in there, and Kobe's in there, and he's lathered up, and he's got his guy, and so I'm down at the other end, and he's like, "You want to play one-on-one?"
Yeah.
And I didn't because I'm changing my shot. Like I'm not there yet, but I'm like, I got it. Like I can't say no. And so we played one-on-one, and I'm telling you, it was like a game 7 in like late July. Like it was. I don't think I played that intense in the summer. And he was, I mean, you know.
This is what, second years? Coming off his second year? 98, he's 96 drafted,
Coming off his second year.
Yeah.
And so, like, the work ethic and how hard, like, up until then, man, like, I didn't really work on my game. And I just hooped. Just played pickup ball. And that summer was when I started, okay, I'm going to start, like, working and getting better and trying things. And that was the hard part because I did it in 98, I did it in 99. And then after that, I never worked on my game in the summer because I was hurt. I was trying to get healthy, and then finally got healthy. And now I didn't touch a ball in the summer. So those Phoenix years, I'm trying to preserve my ankle. So the going through, having a strategy, working on stuff, all of that, like I enjoyed doing that. And a lot of it I got from being like watching this kid younger than me, grinding, like getting after it by himself. It's like a Friday night. I'm all right.